938 AD, 4832 AM. An admixture of Slavic and Turkish peoples passed through Germany, France and northern Italy, plundering and sending the locals fleeing. The Slavic population of Eastern and Central Europe earned their name because they had been carried off as slaves over and over again. In the words of the historian Robert Ferguson, quote, "Their ethnicity became synonymous with their fate and the word slave passed into the English language as a generic term," unquote. The Israelites began as slaves in Egypt, and the fate reoccurred in the histories of their descendants. As Cimmerians taken into Assyria from Samaria in 745 BC, they were to those of the Near East the Galutha or prisoners. These were the Goths and Gauls, peoples related by blood to the Slavs. The Gauls of southern France and the Slavs of Asia Minor were kin. According to Procopius, the Gauls and Slavs had the same national characteristics. Quote, "They from the most ancient times have been under a democracy." Unquote. Reverend H. J. Warner in 1922 AD wrote that the Gauls of southern France and the people of Slavonia were, quote, "in constant communication." Unquote. In the year 1407 BC, or 2488 Annus Mundi, the Israelites invaded Canaan and became a nation with a national homeland. This year of the Slav-Turkish invasions, 938 AD, was exactly 4976 years, or 2488 plus 2488 years, after Earth entered its present orbit around the Sun in 4039 BC. 1. A short history of the world. 2. The Vikings. 3. The Albigensian heresy. 941 AD, 4835 AM. Igor the Russian attacked Constantinople and terrorized the countryside. The Greek armies were elsewhere on campaign and were recalled back where they surrounded the Russians. The Greeks used their secret state and naval weapon, Greek fire, burning the Viking ships. 1. The Vikings. 2. Technology of the gods. 954 AD, 4848 AM. In the 126th year of the founding of the Anglo-Saxon throne of England, in 828 AD, Edred, brother of the king, Athelstan of Wessex, defeated the occupying Vikings of York and drove off Eric Bloodaxe. This ended the Scandinavian power in England. York was a major Atlantic port with visitors from as far as Samarkand, New Samaria. Archaeologists have found shells brought by people from the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. This was 2400 years, 600 times 4, after the exodus of Israel in 1447 BC, and 1200 years, 600 times 2, after the Parthians of partial Israelite descent founded the Parthian dynasty over Babylon in 247 BC. Further, this was 2592 years, 864 times 3, after Jacob died in Israel in 1639 BC, and adopted Manasseh and Ephraim, the tribe of Joseph. This year was 666 years to 1620 AD, when the descendants of the Anglo-Saxons known as the English Puritans were going to sail to North America and land at Plymouth Rock. 1. The Vikings. 960 AD, 4854 AM. The Song dynasty of China began. Double harvesting techniques in China would double the population quickly. 962 AD, 4856 AM. The Holy Roman Empire of Germany began with Otto I, King of Germany, and son of Henry the Fowler. He was crowned as emperor by Pope John XII at Nuremberg, the start of a dynasty beginning with the first Saxon emperor. For the next 9 centuries, the civil power of Germany will contend with the assumed religious powers of Rome over civil Germany. This was 408 years, 4896 months, after the imperial restoration of the Roman Empire by Justinian in 554 AD. This was 2600 years, 52 jubilees, after 1639 BC, when Jacob, Israel, adopted Manasseh and Ephraim in Egypt, 2 tribes that would later migrate far west and become the Germanic nations. 967 AD, 4861 AM. Renowned Arabic scholar Masudi died, preserver of many old Arabian, Greek, Egyptian, Syrian and Coptic traditions concerning the Great Pyramid and its antediluvian origin. 969 AD, 4863 AM. The Egyptian community of Al-Qahira, Cairo, becomes a city founded by the Fatimid general Jauhar al-Siqili, who was called al-Qahira, the Conqueror. The city was originally about 6 miles away from the Great Pyramid of Giza, but the growth of the city brought it to the edge of the pyramid complex. 976 AD, 4870 AM. Zhang Sun of China built a clock that occupied a 30-foot tall tower that rang bells, beat drums, and had little doors that popped open revealing signs that showed the time. Other moving parts showed the sun, moon, and planets. 1. Technology of the gods. 981 AD, 4875 AM. Eric the Red is outlawed and exiled from Norway for murder or manslaughter. He fled to Iceland, to the settlement of Haukadal. Again he is outlawed for manslaughter and relocates to the town of Breidafjord. Again he is banished for killings, this time for 3 years. He set sail westward with a crew, searching for a land rumoured to have been seen at a distance by a storm-driven sailor, Gunnbjorn of Norway. He discovered it and named it Greenland. This is the more popular date for founding of colony of Greenland. 1. The discoverers, Borston. 986 AD, 4880 AM. A Viking navigator named Bjarni Herjolfsson accidentally sailed too far in dense fog, trying to locate Eric's colony. He discovered continental North America. 1. The discoverers, Borston.